far as I'm concerned, like when I started skating, I always felt that there was something to skating that people weren't seeing. You know, they were just looking at the sort of the hairdos and the music and the fact that it was outlawed everywhere. But they weren't seeing the physical act of it as being something unique and something special. And I always felt like skating gave me the sense of self-confidence that I never had, and it's sort of this art form and a sport, and I just feel like people have finally come to realize all that. And so, yes, I'm surprised it's that big, but part of me is like, what took you so long to figure it out? You know, skating has always been amazing. But having skating as a genre of gaming is something that I never imagined at all. I mean, I can honestly say that. You know, I ate up every skate game. Like, I have a 720 machine. I bought a Commodore 64 because Skate or Die was available for it. You know, but I felt like skating was never represented properly in those modes. And so when I got a chance to work on a game, I dove in head first, and I wanted to make it fun for skaters to play. You know, I thought it would be something that it was good, the skating industry appreciated it, the skaters liked it, and maybe inspired some people to go buy a game system because they thought it was a cool game. But I never thought it was going to be this giant franchise or create a genre. And I'm proud of that, though, you know, because there are very few genres of sports video games. You know, football, baseball, basketball, skateboarding, and snowboarding. I'm not going to forget Shaun White. I feel like it wasn't all about crazy button combos in the beginning, our game, but as we evolved and as things got more complicated, that's what it sort of became. Not that was a bad thing, but I just didn't want to take that any further, that whole idea. And I thought, you know, people are ready. They like the peripheral-based games where they can play the guitar or they can, you know, they can do the drums and not just music stuff, but you know, like the Wiimotes and everything. It's more participatory and it's more active, and I feel like if the technology's here, let's do it with a skateboard. You know, people have tried to do it in the past with existing games, and it was too clunky. You know, you can't. You have to. What we learned, you have to design a game around the peripheral. We have a whole graveyard of prototypes. They're pretty funny. Well, the first board that we even tried was just a blank skateboard deck with a Wii remote gutted and sort of taped all over it. So the accelerometers worked, and we actually at one point had a digital compass on it to figure out which way is straight. We had sonars instead of infrared sensors on the sides. That didn't work so well. We had one with just buttons on it, so it was more like Dance Dance Revolution on a skateboard. The board has certain motions and certain nuances that set it to go into different ways. And also when you have your style meters full, you do a whole new set of tricks. But we only worked 2 years on this project, and the first half of it basically was setting the board design, getting that right, and then building the game around it. So I feel like the game is super good, but we can go a lot further with this whole idea. And in the future, this board could be the flagship of all kinds of games. You know, we can make snowboarding for it, we can make surfing for it, and whatever else comes up, because the technology is ahead of the curve that we have in this actual unit. We have a new hardware device that we're going to build games around. And you know, if everything goes well, then we got lots of games to come if you've already bought the board. We did all the skate tricks on the board and had the computer register that motion just so it knows that is possible and that will trigger it. But to be honest, we made this game much less intimidating than skateboarding. You know, in casual mode, which is basically the sort of beginner mode, all of the steering is done for you, and the turning of the board is the biggest hurdle to overcome, and that's probably the biggest learning curve there is. And so we have a way to sort of guide you into that. And then as you get more experience, then you can go into the sort of confident or hardcore levels of turning. But we didn't want people to get on it and start falling off it immediately. That being said, of course, you know, people are going to go crazy with it sometimes and maybe overdo it. But you know, I feel like you can get on it and figure it out pretty quickly that it doesn't take a lot of motion to set the tricks going. This is a whole new direction for us, and I can honestly say I've worked harder on this game than I have in almost any other game. I mean, I dove into this one as much as I did the very first Pro Skater. And so this is my baby. My heart and soul is in this one, and I'm really proud of it. And I think that if you just give it a chance, you're really going to enjoy it. You know, there's a lot of skepticism with what we're doing, and that it's gimmicky, or that it's, you know, it's not real. Well, it's not supposed to be real, but it's supposed to be fun. And the other argument is, well, why would I pay that much money when I can buy a real skateboard? I'm not discouraging anyone from going to buy a real skateboard and doing, you know, whatever you want to do with it, but I don't think you're going to be able to do a kickflip to 5.0 your first day out.